The fourth Cricket World Cup, the Reliance World Cup, was held over a month in 1987 in India and Pakistan. Australia won it against the odds as they beat England by 7 runs in the closest final in World Cup history till date. The famous moment in the match was when England, chasing 254 for victory, were cruising at 135 for 2 after 31 overs. Alan Border's first ball of the match was picked up by Gatting outside his leg stump in a bizarre attempt to reverse sweep. He got an edge and it popped up for wicketkeeper Greg Dyer, who took the catch. Australia were unlikely winners as they were still building their new side under Alan Border. They came into the tournament having lost their last 5 ODI series and their last 5 one-day matches. In the most unlikely environs, they won 7 matches and lost just 1 to win the Reliance World Cup. It was a remarkable team effort by Australia, to such an extent that only 2 players got tournament-defining performances. Fast bowler Craig McDermott for his 5 for 44 in the semi-final against Pakistan. He was the tournament's highest impact player and bowler. And captain and bowling all-rounder Alan Border for his 2 for 38 and run a ball 31 in the final. He was Australia's second highest impact player. The third highest impact player for Australia was 22-year-old Steve Waugh, whose bowling, interestingly, was higher impact than his batting. David Boone and Jeff Marsh, father of Sean and Mitchell, were the highest impact batsmen for Australia. The now almost forgotten Mike Villeta, who had the highest strike rate impact for Australia in the tournament, produced 2 folklore-worthy innings back-to-back. In the semi-final, he made a 50-ball 48 and in the final, a 31-ball 45, much like Inzamam-ul-Haq's heroics in the very next World Cup. Unlike Inzamam though, Villeta did not go on to have a distinguished career. He played just 14 matches after this one, despite being a proven match winner later too. The world's best test side of the time, West Indies, did not even reach the semi-finals. The biggest nail in their coffin came in a group match where Pakistan needed 12 runs of the last 4 balls of the match, with just 1 wicket left. But Courtney Walsh did not run out non-striker Jaffer, who was backing up too far, and instead chose to turn around to bowl. He was hailed for his sportsmanship, even though Abdul Qadir made the required runs of the last ball and Pakistan won by 1 wicket. However, they were beaten in the semi-final by eventual champions Australia to destroy hopes of a dream India-Pakistan final, which as per the relative strengths of the teams then, and given that these were home conditions, were the favourites to reach the final. England beat India in the semi-final at Bombay, a rude shock for not just the cricket-mad masses but also indigenous sponsors, Reliance. India had lost to Australia by just 1 run in their first group match, but had won every game convincingly thereafter. In their last group match, which they needed to win to top the group and play the semi-final in Bombay, they thrashed New Zealand by 9 wickets. India made 224 for 1 in 32 overs, with Gavaskar an ironic 103 not out of 88 balls, his most memorable one-day innings. Ironic because it was Gavaskar who played the most shambolic one-day innings in history 12 years ago. That 36 of 174 balls that had given Indian one-day cricket a bad name. It is noteworthy that this penultimate innings in Gavaskar's one-day career is as remembered as his final test innings of 96 against Pakistan barely 6 months previously, also considered his finest test innings by many. But Gavaskar was out for just 4 in the semi-final, and India, from 204 for 5, crashed to 219 all out and were knocked out of the tournament. 24-year-old Navjot Singh Sidhu made just 22 in this match, despite otherwise absorbing the most pressure among Indian batsmen in the tournament. Sidhu made his one-day debut in this World Cup and did not fail even once in his 7 innings, making him the tournament's most consistent batsman. It was the start of an illustrious career that still has him as the 3rd highest impact one-day batsman ever for India. His television mirth-making career has sadly made people forget how outstanding a limited overs batsman he was. The next most consistent batsman in the tournament was England's Graham Gooch, who made 115 in that semi-final. He failed just once in 8 innings and was significantly the highest impact batsman of the tournament. The only sign that this tournament was played in the subcontinent comes from the name of the 2nd highest impact bowler in the tournament, after Craig McDermott, right arm off-break bowler Eddie Hemmings. He took 4 wickets in that same heartbreaking Indian semi-final and 2 more in the final against Australia. The second highest impact spinner in the tournament was India's Maninder Singh, notable for his 0% failure rate. He was India's highest impact bowler. It is interesting that during the height of the Khalistan movement, which sought an independent Sikh state, India's highest impact bowler and batsman in the Cricket World Cup at the time were both Sikhs. Pakistan's captain Imran Khan, in magnificent bowling form, had been the highest impact player of the tournament till his team was knocked out. He retired from cricket in that gloom while still at his peak, but he had to come back soon when Pakistani Premier Zia-ul-Haq personally requested him to, just as well that he did, as he produced some great performances post that, none more than his test bowling in West Indies against the world's best team. He would retire again later, but come back yet again to lead his team one last time in the next World Cup, where history beckoned not just for Imran, but for Pakistan.